So let's use completing the square to get these equations of circles from general form to standard form. We have x squared plus y squared plus 10x minus 6y plus 25 is equal to 0. We're going to start by grouping our x terms, leaving a space, grouping our y terms, leaving a space, and moving our constant term over to the other side. So it's plus 25, so when it goes, we'll subtract 25 on both sides. All right, so let's consider. To complete the square, we take half of 10, which is 5, and 5 squared is 25. So I add 25 here. That means I need to add 25 to the left-hand side to keep this thing balanced. Let's take a look at our y's. So we have half of negative 6 is negative 3. And honestly, I never even consider the signs when I'm doing it because I'm going to square it anyway and it's going to turn positive. So I'll add 9 on the left and I will add 9 on the right. All right. My next job is to factor this first grouping. That factors into x plus 5 quantity squared. I'll factor my y group. This factors into y minus 3 quantity squared. And negative 25 plus 25 plus 9 is 9. In this form, in standard form, I can clearly identify my x and y of my center. So my center is going to be at negative 5, 3. And my radius is going to be the square root of 9 because that's r squared. I just need r. Square root of 9 is equal to 3 for my radius. All right. Let's take a look at an example that is maybe a little more involved. Here we will group our x's just as we did a moment ago. So we have 3x squared minus 12x. We'll group our y's, 3y squared plus 6y. We'll move our constant over to the other side, plus 2, subtract 2 on both sides, negative 2. Well, we have in both cases, and it'll be this way with the circle. If one's messed up, so to speak, the other one will be too. So we're going to factor out the lead coefficient to create a 1 there. So that becomes 3 times x squared minus 4x. Leave a space. Factor out the 3. Y squared plus 2y, because 3 times 2 would give me 6. And negative 2. That doesn't affect the other side. All right, time to do some completing of the square. Half of negative 4 is negative 2, and negative 2 squared is 4, which means I'm going to add 4 inside this grouping. Notice though, 3 is multiplying the 4, so it's really like I added 12 to the left. So I will add 12 to the right. Let's go on to the y's now. Half of 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. So I will add 1 inside here. 3 times 1 is 3. I'll add 3 here. All right, we will do some factoring. That gives us 3 times the quantity x minus 2 squared plus 3 times the quantity y plus 1 squared is equal to negative 2 plus 12 is 10 plus 3 is 13. So we look at our standard form and we see we don't want any coefficients out here. Okay, no big deal. What we will do is we will divide by both sides of the equation by 3. We now have x minus 2 quantity squared plus y plus 1 quantity squared is equal to 13 thirds. So we see now that the center of this circle is 2, negative 1, And we see that the radius of this circle would be the square root of 13 thirds. If you want to rationalize that, it's not a bad idea. That's going to be the square root of 39 over 3 is our radius.